Hello, and welcome to A Slice of Pie, the semi-weekly news show that we do on this channel. And I've got a confession to make, guys. I haven't really been able to do all that much this week for a number of reasons. So we're gonna jump into that first and I'll explain everything. How is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing a lot better than I am. You see, unfortunately, two things happened last week that completely derailed this channel and my general upload schedule. One, my gateway decided to die. I use ATT fiber because, you know, gigabit internet and fiber connections. Because of that though, ATT actually has proprietary gear that you need to have in order to run their network. And so the big problem with that ended up actually being that, well, unfortunately, I couldn't replace the piece that died without getting a hold of them. And I thought it would be simple. You know, I thought I could just go to the store, be like, here's the broken one, can you give me a new one? No, you have to mail it to them because they don't keep the gateways in the store, which is kind of counterintuitive because if I've had Comcast in the past and Comcast will just swap them out for you because they have them in store. But so I had to wait like a week for that. And that was fine. Like, I was gonna upload afterward and it was gonna be great. Unfortunately, I may have contracted human malware though. And currently I'm awaiting test results. And it's entirely because right now I actually do not have my full lung capacity. It's honestly weird feeling. It's like a cold, except way more sinusy. So honestly, I'm on the nicer end of what human malware can do, but I still don't know if it is that or if it's just the seasonal flu. I haven't shaved in a week because I've actually been sleeping this off. Like, I literally cold medicine and asleep. Like, I've been asleep most of this week. Like, I contacted work, I'm like, hey, I don't know if this is human malware. I know you guys don't want me being there. If it is, if it's not, we'll use my vacation pay. It'll be cool. And then they'll pay me for the 2 weeks that I'm out, if it is. And I'm still awaiting results. I'm supposed to have gotten them today, but I haven't gotten them, so I'm gonna have to wake up tomorrow morning and see if I've got them. And so I'm sorry if I'm low energy. I'm still on cold medicine, and I can't drink my energy drinks like I normally do because if this is human malware, I could actually do damage to my heart because energy drinks accelerate your heart rate and human malware actually has been found to attack your heart. So unfortunately, I'm going to be struggling through this video, and more importantly, I'm going to be struggling through the next week if this is. If it's not, then I should be able to get back onto some type of production schedule, but I highly doubt with how lasting the impact of this has been so far that I'm going to be 100% anytime soon. So I do apologize for that, guys, and I am deeply sorry for not essentially being able to update you guys. I really should be using my other social medias to update you when something like this happens, because if I had Twitter on my phone, I could have easily tweeted something out on data. It's like, hey, don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have internet access. This whole situation though is just gonna be a pain. So I'm gonna try to get through all the tech and gaming news, but I wanted that to be up front. This is what's going on. So yeah. Let's just get into the tech and gaming news because it's been an interesting week. So that 3080 launch and the 3090 launch and the Series X launch and the Series S launch and the PlayStation 5 launch. Oh boy. This week has not been great for pre-orders, and it has not been great for people trying to get a hold of tech early. All of these launches were actually incredibly filled with bots. bots bought up a huge chunk of the available stock, and even worse, eBay now has a bunch of listings for pre-orders or even cards that were sent but were sent to scalpers. Now, this is one of those things where this isn't new. This has happened in the past, but this is the first time I've actually seen the impact be so great. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a hold of my 3080 that I wanted to. I had it in the cart, I was checking out, and it's like, oops, problem has occurred. We don't actually have that card. And I was like, why? I was so close. So unfortunately, I don't have it. I wasn't buying a 3090 because that's a lot of money, and I don't have that kind of money. But so those two sold out, and I'm kind of bummed about it, but at the same time, I'm patient. I'm the kind of person where I don't need it immediately. Nvidia cards are not something I generally cover on this channel anyway. So like if Big Navi slips in there between like when I'm able to get a hold of the 3080 and when it comes out, like, you know damn well Big Navi will come first. But point is, I can wait. I'm patient, and I advise all of you guys to wait, because do not pay these scalpers. Currently, there are a couple people doing their part to pretty much make these scalpers kind of regret what they did by inflating the bids to the point that no human being would actually buy them. And it's just becoming an inconvenience to those scalpers. So honestly, I find it kind of funny. Don't do it. Like, it's kind of shady and kind of a bad thing to do, but like at the same time, in all seriousness, I find it hilarious that these scalpers can't move this product due to bots, because they use bots to buy the product. And I'm going to say it, they did definitely use them, because actually the card that I had in my cart, I had it before Newegg's launch, because it went live earlier. So it was the MSI triple fan design, which honestly wasn't on the top of my list, but I was like, if I'm gonna get a card, I'm gonna have to get a card. And yeah, unfortunately, nothing came of that. The PlayStation 5 thing was even weirder, because the PlayStation 5 went for pre-order against Sony's wishes and against the agreement that most of the retailers had actually made for the PlayStation 5. So unfortunately, somebody jumped the shark, and then once they jumped the shark, everybody else had to do it anyway. So that was a whole fiasco and a half. And then the Series X thing, they crashed Microsoft's site, they crashed Amazon, they crashed a couple places. There were a stupidly large amount of Xbox One X's sold as a result, and I hope those were sold to bots that didn't know the difference, because that personally would be great amounts of justice of them having to return the hundreds of Series or Xbox One X's that they bought on accident. So like there was a whole bunch of crap going on with that. Wasn't great. I also was fighting without having internet, so I was using my phone to do it too. So that was a thing, and it definitely wasn't good. Nvidia has since apologized for the launch. Microsoft has since apologized, and Sony has since apologized, and all of them have promised to get new product in as soon as possible. That being said, AMD is definitely gearing up to show us Big Navi. And I'm gonna say it right now, I kind of called it. In last week's episode, I said there was going to be a 6900 XT, a 6800 XT, a 6700 XT, and a 6600 XT, and it looks like we are getting all of those by the end of the year, which is kind of awesome. And the 6900 is the one that I'm actually the most interested in, because it could possibly be a little bit better than the 3080. I mean, we don't know. And then drivers are going to be a problem with that. And as you know, like I will, as I said, I'm promising I'm covering the flagship, and I consider the flagship the $500, $600 card. I guess really like $600 to $700 card is what I consider the flagship. So like, either way, like I'm probably gonna be covering the RX 6900 XT when it comes out. It's rumored to have quite a bit of RAM actually. Again, matching Nvidia, so it looks like they're definitely targeting 4K gaming at least, not 8K gaming, which ended up in reviews of the 3090 being kind of a farce. There were some really cool demos being done with Doom Eternal, but I think Gamers Nexus put it the best. Doom Eternal could run on a Tamagotchi. Like, you don't need all that much graphics processing power to actually run Doom Eternal. So personally, I do think that that the 8K is kind of overhyped and overblown. But actually having doable 4K is definitely kind of appealing, even though most monitors aren't high refresh rate and 4K yet. But 1440p high refresh rate is starting to become more mainstream. And personally, I would love a card that could actually push that. So I'm excited to see what happens from both AMD and Nvidia going forward. We've already heard rumors of a new, like a 3080 Ti almost already. And we've also heard rumors of a 3070 Ti. So it's like, it looks like no matter what, AMD is going to release something and Nvidia is going to counter it with something else. And that's fine. Honestly, like, we win in the end with this type of competition, as you're currently seeing with the current 3080 performance actually being so high. So yeah, that's pretty much all the graphics card news. Also, in addition to the stuff that Nvidia has apologized for, they also decided to pretty much kill off SLI. Now, it's not entirely dead. It's just going the way of Crossfire. And if you've known what happened with Crossfire, it's pretty much dead. Essentially, it's not going to be something that Nvidia is going to be putting resource into, but instead it's going to be on the developers to put the plugins in to make it work. That being said, it pretty much does kill it off, as any viability with it is going to be only in like the professional sense with NVLink instead of SLI. And when it comes down to that, that's essentially just for, you know, GPU heavy workloads. So things like Quadros, and even the 3090 actually has a NVLink bridge on it, or an NVLink finger on it. So in reality, like, NVLink's not going away, but SLI is most likely completely, you know, gutted and will be done. Here's a weird story. EVGA made a capture card, and it's the only capture card that's Streamlabs approved. That's particularly weird, but at the same time, you know, pretty cool. Honestly, it's a USB capture card. They're actually made to scale up to multiple capture cards on the same device. That being said, and this is something, as somebody who's tried to make Let's Plays in the past, as a bit of wisdom for this, do not run multiple USB capture cards on the same USB bus. Now, that may sound like gibberish to most of you guys who are aspiring to do this, but you will, if you try it, end up saturating USB signals. On newer motherboards, like the Ryzen motherboards that I've gotten here, so the AM4 ones, these should be fine because they just are so overbuilt and overpowered that it shouldn't be as big of a problem. But if you are using a cheaper motherboard, like an A series motherboard, you probably only have one USB bus. So if you use multiple 1080p 60 frames per second capture cards, or even worse, 4K 60, you're going to end up saturating that bandwidth pretty quickly. That's why anytime that anybody asks me, like, what do you recommend for streaming, I actually suggest a PCIe capture card. Here's some game news for you. There's a new Monster Hunter game coming out, and I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I love Monster Hunter. Like, I started playing Monster Hunter 3, and I've been playing every game since, including World. World is actually, I haven't played enough of World, to be completely honest, but I do really like it. I think it's just because I haven't had too much time to play it. Digressing a little bit, the new Monster Hunter game looks incredibly Japanese. Like, it is like Sekiro meets Monster Hunter, and I kind of love it. I personally can't wait for it. It looks like you could do all sorts of crazy stunts on it. It is coming out for the Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's been announced for other platforms yet, but honestly, it looks great and I can't wait to play it. So this happened. Microsoft bought Zenimax. Now, for those of you who don't actually know who Zenimax is, allow me to elaborate. Zenimax is the parent company of Bethesda Game Studios and a couple of other really big studios. They now, under their belt, Microsoft has access to the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, the Fear series. I think it's the Fear series. God, they have so much now. Wolfenstein, Doom, God, there's just, oh yeah, id Software is under there too. Like, Microsoft has just bought a behemoth of a studio, and it actually is super exciting for me. And here's why. Microsoft actually generally continues to port things to PC, which is where I predominantly play my games, is mostly on the PC and a little bit on the Switch. And Microsoft has proven that they are willing to work with Nintendo. Honestly, it does look like they're probably going to try to cut Sony out of the picture a little bit, which does hurt Sony a lot because Bethesda does have a lot of really big game titles that people are looking forward to. Elder Scrolls is coming, Starfield is coming. Both of those games will now have more money put behind them, and honestly, hopefully, will be better games because of it. The thing I'm most excited about, Microsoft bought Obsidian earlier in the year, and now they have Bethesda. You know what that means? It means we can get New Vegas 2 by Obsidian. Like, Microsoft has the rights to all of it, and they could literally say, Obsidian, you're making New Vegas 2, and we can get New Vegas 2. And I'm kind of extremely excited about the prospect of that, because the whole thing that was not making that happen was Obsidian and Bethesda's relationship. And now with Microsoft as their parent company, there's nothing stopping it. Or no, it's Mystic Cloud. EKWB is releasing Mystic Cloud coolant, bluish white that actually shows RGB better than traditional coolants. That being said, I don't have an intention to actually use it because, well, I theme my builds around the coolant color and, you know, everything about them. Like, the whole reason that Supernova looks the way it does back there is because I picked those colors for the build. Dark Matter's the same thing. The white and black was an intentional design choice. So this is kind of cool though, because it is actually a coolant that actually transfers the light from the RGB very, very well. I've actually seen it in action. My favorite part about it though is the limited edition bottles have a unicorn on it, on a rainbow. And the description of it is just, oh, it's just so great. And honestly, I love it. I love the idea that it exists, and it plays very well into the unicorn vomit mindset that we have for RGB. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here, guys, because I'm getting a headache. I've already coughed quite a bit, and yeah, I'm just gonna try to get this edited and actually out on Friday. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. I hope that in 2 weeks, I'm able to do this video in full force and be like, yeah, let's kill it. So, thank you guys again. Wolfie, out.